Hey, and we're on, people, poets,
Oh,
public.
okay. So, I,
Jeannie, if I could
mhm.
introduce the show, that would be nice.
Oh,
Okay, could you start us again, David? Hello and welcome to Angora Poets World Cafe on this Sunday, November 28th, 2021. Uh, we're going to start off with 5 or 6 poets tonight, and so often other poets join us later. And we're glad you're listening to this on our YouTube channel, provided by Dharma Dave, otherwise known as Rorschach, and his channel. And so, welcome aboard to listen to us. We are the Angora Poets World Cafe. And if you don't know by now, I'm a poet named Mo Seeger, and my job is to turn this Zoom on. So it is turned on, and I would like to introduce our first poet, hailing originally from East LA, don't you know? Right out of East LA, straight out of East LA. And she is our poet, our first poet tonight, and that would be Jeannie Nakano. So, Jeannie, welcome, and you're on.
okay, bonjour. So, I want Jack or someone to correct me on the statistics of this one issue, and I will raise my finger because I looked on the internet and it gave me something unbelievable, but I'll read it anyway, what I read on the internet. So, this is, I'm starting the story of my family, and I call it Ise, Nisei, Sansei, Lonsei. People are surprised when I divulge my family background. My father dropped acid, smoked marijuana, that my mom was bold, loved men of all colors, sizes, ages, and left us for a fleeting moment. I hear, that's so unusual for Nisei. Nisei stick together. Nisei follow rules. Nisei gaman. Nisei enryul. Surprise. Mom left us for a Russian New York poet. My father for the Alps. His bride, a statuesque Swiss blonde. Back then, in the 1960s, the civil rights momentum, and further back, in 1942, when Ise, Nisei, my grandmother, grandfather, auntie, and mother were ripped from their homes, jobs, families, pulled out of high school and college, placed in horse stables, and discarded throughout the US to 10 desolate concentration camps for the color of their skin, for the slant of their eyes. Dad, lucky him, he didn't have to go to camp. Instead, he joined the 442 Regimental Combat Team, the most decorated US military team in the history of the United States. Why? Because in the Battle of Bruyères, France, 800 men died to save 16 American Texans. Why? Because the 442 were all Japanese Americans. Their commander-in-chief, Dahlquist, thought they were indispensable. They were dispensable. And he kept sending my father and the troop up the mountains to be slaughtered in the mountains of Bruyères. Why? Because they were the first to liberate the Jewish prisoners in Dachau, but were never given the credit and the glory of it. Why? Because most, all of them, were injured in battle and killed. My mom couldn't take the concentration camps, sick every day, the origin of her disease, lupus. They said, get out of here, and they sent her to Chicago. But I'm digressing. How did that happen? I meant to talk of my family, my mom and pop. My father was a poet, a humanitarian. My mother, a painter, a gourmet cook for the stars. To be continued. That's only the beginning.
That's a
So
promising beginning. Great.
Yeah, this, I tell you, this woman, I read part of it in a poetry group, and she insists that I write this story, and I don't really, and she saw people being ripped from their homes when she was only 6 years old. She's Hakujin, she's white. And she says it's my duty to write it. So I told her that she should write the story because I wasn't there. She was there. I didn't see it. My father wrote stories. I want to publish his book. I read part of his book too. I want to publish his. I really will only write a little bit, and I want to publish my father's. Okay, so that's enough of that. Someone asked me to write on identity. So I've written several poems on identity, and I think you can give me your opinion if you think this is a little bit about self-identity. You're men, so you may have a different opinion than me. So I'd like to hear your opinion. This is August 5th, 1962. Marilyn Monroe died today. Martha's voice is shaking on the phone. She's my best friend, and Marilyn was her idol. Martha patterned her voice, her walk, everything after the starlet. Martha, at age 13, captures the eyes and hearts of grown men with her green eyes, flaming auburn hair, and alabaster skin. Martha is stacked. She wants to be just like Marilyn, and I want to be just like her. My best friend and I, we love to wear each other's clothes. Once a week, we go to school being each other. I am 12, 5'2", a mere 87 pounds. Her tight skirts and sweaters hang on me, but I'm beginning to get the walk. Martha has so many boyfriends, we lose track of our friendship. When she dyes that beautiful auburn hair black, I wonder why. Then she disappears. A soft knock on my door. Martha walks in with twin baby boys, one named after Johnny, and other one named after Randy. I remembered them all. The kitten cries for milk. No one hears it. Moonlight spills across a kitchen floor.
Okay. Reminiscence. Okay. With a great outro. Okay. Nice, Jeannie. And 3 is a charm.
I wrote this when we went bankrupt, and I wrote this poem right after it. And the last part I wrote today because we're coming around the holidays. Okay, so here it is. It's called O Kane. And O Kane means money in Nihongo. Money, money, money. How much money do you make? How much money do you take? Beads, sugar, and spices. Let's trade in goodwill. Ask a person, how much money do you make? It's unpresidential. Or how old are you? It's impolite, crude, crass. My income, $450 a month. Retirement, Social Security. Boring, isn't this? I'm 73 and I am moving up. A billionaire friend of mine asked, what's this issue about money anyway? Can we travel on higher ground? And don't let your dog shit on my lawn. It's only money, lying, dying, crying for a paper moon. Let's let's melt a melting pot. A stranger came into town claiming he could make stew from a rusty nail. A childhood story I recall. Do you? And then everyone pitched in. Onions, scallops, and garlics from one, potatoes from another, one small carrot, wild herbs growing in the grounds, green beans, black beans, red beans, yellow beans, soybeans, yams, sweet potatoes, dried persimmons, mushrooms, vintage bottles of sake, and on and on and on. And then Endo-san played taiko. Kamiya-san played sanshin. The moon grew brighter, fuller. The singing, dancing, laughter grew bolder. The sky ripped wide open. And then... Namaste.
More will be revealed. Okay.
Okay.
Your poems remind me of 3 poems I read today by a quite popular writer who's rather shy about putting her own stuff out. Is it McLaughlin, right, Jack? Is it Joanne McLaughlin? I think you know who I'm speaking, out of New York, Jack.
You're muted, Jack. What did you say?
Mute myself. Yes, Joanne McLaughlin,
So,
who is the widow of a great American poet.
Did she come here?
No,
no, she's
Oh.
very, how do you say, backstage, withholding of what she's doing and what she's writing. So she released 3 poems that I read today, and it begins with simply ordinary details and then wraps up like you did, leaving the whole experience open for experience, open for the experience, open for experience.
Oh, okay.
I think you totally nailed it with those poems, Jeannie. And the second poem, just the story, I mean, is so right there with you and watching your friend and the death of Marilyn and all that
yeah.
kind of thing. And yeah, money.
I'm still trying to find my best friend, Martha. She disappeared. She came once to show me her babies, and you could tell how close we were. We'd wear each other's clothes. When you're that age, you're in love with each other. Young girls are. It's like no other experience. You men probably can't have it because it's just too.
It's different.
You're not allowed. You're not
It's
allowed.
different. It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
So I still can't find her. I don't know where she is.
That the kitten at the end, that was a brilliant touch. I loved it.
yes, I
Oh,
thought so
thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
okay, well, thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you. I didn't think you men would understand.
Oh, yeah.
Well, poets are supposed to have some degree of sensitivity to others. At
Right,
least
Mo. All right, Mo.
that's what they claim about us anyway. That's what they, anyway, thank you. Keep on
You're
writing.
welcome.
I'm going to say
Okay.
the obvious. I'm going to say the obvious to encourage you. Americans and others, nationalities, do not know enough about the Japanese American experience. They do not. They know maybe one point that there was some,
God.
forced incarceration and all, but the experiences you share from your father, are very revealing about the role of Japanese
Oh,
Americans, how they were segregated in their fighting units, how they were used as fodder on missions that were expected to cause a lot of casualties, as you mentioned, So that's very good to do.
Thank
Very
you.
necessary. particularly since, I don't know, a year or a year and a half ago, Americans went weird on Asian people because of, uh,
COVID.
Trump said something that COVID was the Chinese coming to get us. That bit, when people were attacked in
Mhm.
New York and just anonymous people who were Asian,
Everywhere. Mhm.
Yeah.
I was really scared. Yeah.
as if all Asians are Chinese and all Chinese are responsible for COVID. Anyway, good for you to, put some truth and some light on that.
Okay. I'll continue. It's hard. It's hard.
Okay. Well, hello, Claire.
Hi everyone.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's a
Have your
small
name on the
crowd
list?
tonight.
Sorry, what?
It's a
Yeah.
small crowd tonight.
Hmm. Okay. So we have you reading coming up after Jack. Jack Cooper is another poet in our group here, and you may read after he's done, so that you
Not
know.
just another
where you're
poet. Not just another.
All right, that can be worked out in time. All right, so now we're going to move on to our next poet, who is living in Paris and published several chapbooks and is bilingual, and he is Bill Strangmeyer. Bill, you are on.
Mo, hello, everybody. It's a quote from The Overstory, a novel by Richard Powers. These people are nothing to her, and yet their lives have long been connected deep underground. This is called And Yet. Have I ever fought the crippling fear that ruled, directed, led, or only fought the world, the clues it gave, fought life, desired as directed glossy thoughts from magazines? While running wild within a cage, I'd rested from the sway. From time to time, I'd smell the designated gyros rose, dictated by the gurus and pastors so kind as to counsel me. I've been taught to say that it's over today and I'm healed. In the argot of sales, pandemic now, and suited up and pressed by the fear that we worship in our peasant schools. The sky gods and earth goddesses, always at odds over which is the drummer and which plays the bass, owe us redress just as much as the devil and the Almighty One, as we try to float up from what's real to opinion and notion, belief. The constipated military mind and the diarrheic polity have altered prayer, the food of gods, into genetic atrophy. Loki poses still as kind to privatize Venus, make Jesus a fool. Apollo turns prissy, and Athena is bound to dull Mars. The gods evolve and grow no brighter as we stay the same, yet in our guts we feel the truth that the money god would deny. Behind the navel, there it is, and you know it's not a lie.
Okay, there's a certain message in that, Bill. Not surprised. You're not shy about directing your feelings. So how about number 2, Bill?
Okay.